Hi there, that's right. It's a great and glorious, soon to be famous one day Nick Dutch back on the camera again for another delightful tarot reading. Sorry I'm dressed all in black. It must seem rather bizarre me looming out of the darkness that you like that, but anyway, never mind. Now, as I'm sure you know, on this particular YouTube channel I tend to do tarot readings. What I will quickly say is I'm going to leave a link to my Twitter down in the information box below, so that you can go to that and follow me. And what I've been doing recently is actually putting out every single morning, or roughly every morning, a free tarot card for you to have a look at. So if you're on Twitter and you're interested just to have a free tarot card just to give you a bit of inspiration, make you think about your day in a different way, then have a quick look and follow me on Twitter. And of course you can see the other updates and other things that I'm uploading onto YouTube as well. So that might be of interest to you. Of course, if it isn't, then don't worry about that, but it's there if you do want it. So, we're going to go straight on with the first reading of today, and this one is someone whose YouTube channel name is Green Pumpkin 1978, and this individual has a relationship inquiry and just wants to see whether things are going to work out again. Alright, so let's just have a quick look and see what's coming through. Shuffling like mad as usual, just want to make sure it's a nice thorough reading. Still using the good old fashioned boring Book of Thoth tarot, but essentially if that's what gives me like the best quality of I suppose perspective about what's happening for yourself, then essentially that's the best way to go. So standard 8 card relationship, here we go. Alright, already we've got some interesting signs coming through. So I mentioned before I don't prime my readings, so all I do is show you the cards the way they've come up. And I just want to express to you what I'm seeing here, what I'm feeling. Firstly, you're dealing with an individual who's not very proactive, shall we say. The main message is lack of ability to actually move further forward, as we've got there in the Eight of Cups, which is often marked indolence, which to me essentially means, the whole symbology of the card represents a slowing down, or an unwillingness, or a fear to actually take action. But also it's a cup card, so why would it be a cup card and still be speaking about inaction? Well, essentially there's a feeling of lack of bravery to take the right variety of action, but also the feelings already being within this particular individual, and giving this individual a certain quantity of, I would say, almost depression, I would say. Now, why would I be feeling that there's depression there? Because there's a sense of knowledge that there is a right thing to do, and that involves communication and action. But is it always going to be like that? Remember, the other card we have on his side of things is the Death card, and the Death card refers to transformation, okay? Changing the entire character, personality, point of view. I would say this is like a germination phase for him. During the time when you've not been communicating very well, shall we say, the feelings I've got is that that's been a time when he's been thinking, and he's been thinking long and hard about how to make something actually work. But he's still a bit shy and still a bit confused as to how to make real progress occur. Forces between you, the thing which defines the relationship, very strong with communication, okay? But also a sense of strength. I don't know whether you can see it on this camera, you probably can't. But in that top corner, there's a little sign which looks a bit like the male reproductive sign. And that's essentially talking about Mars. That means the responsibility is essentially his. Obviously it's not going to happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it wasn't rebuilt in a day either, okay? But in this particular case, communication does seem to be coming from this individual towards yourself, and there's a good feeling of there being some progress happening. So it starts off all very, very good, basically. And on your side of the reading towards him, it's almost like you lose faith once in a while. And I think we can say that because of the Seven of Swords here. I don't know whether that's come out on the camera. There you go. Often labelled as futility or a sense of depression at times. A feeling of oversensitivity, or that things are moving away from you. So I think that you actually doubt this relationship. But on the strength of the communication signs, and the fact he's going through some change and transformation, can we really say that this is going to be a case of total failure? Basically, bottom line, I don't think so. So just take a little bit more hope, and as he starts showing you a few more positive signs, just be open to the changes and see what's going to happen there. Now, if things are going to work out really rather well, we'd expect there to be a lot of loving signs in the future. Now, if you've seen my reading videos before, you will know that cup signs are often associated with love. They appear twice here. Firstly with the Two of Cups at the beginning of the time period, short term, mid term, long term, okay? And then finally with the Ace. So this is talking about a period of up to 6 months of things slowly improving. No, don't panic. I'm not saying you've got to wait 6 months for him to be in touch and for him to start treating you well. I feel you've just got to wait 6 months for things to actually be very good, rather than just good and getting there. Another sign here for you, the Ace of Discs, talking about stability in a sense of trying to get a bit more perspective. So he does want to stay around for a while, but during that time you might still find that frustrating because he'll only be getting there slowly. He'll be in that sort of like moth leaving the chrysalis kind of state, rather than actually totally being there and still be going through the growth that's required. I feel you've still got some kind of future with him, so now it's up to you as to whether you accept that or whether you don't, basically. But there is some potential there, so I don't really have any fears about how this is going to work out in the long-term future. So I would really, I really think this is worth hanging on to, at least for the moment. Alright? Okay, now White Lady 321 has asked a few questions. Firstly, she's talking about being cursed, and she's asking whether a certain individual has cursed her. I'm going to give you an emphatic no, because those people who are well versed in the thing that they call magic can often say that they can do things that they can't, and because of your fear associated with that individual, that can lead you to believe that there is a curse there. There may be many other forms of explanation for the bad luck you've been having, but to say that it's a curse would in fact be incorrect, and it would be very disingenuous for me to turn around to you and tell you that yes, you have been definitively cursed. So I want you to put that to the back of your mind, literally to the back of your mind. It's not important. Take responsibility in the here and now. Highlight the things you wish to be able to create changes in, and then start making those changes bit by bit. Okay? We also asked about moving to another country and working in another country. Well, we'll do a quick reading. We'll have a quick look out for signs relating to travel and also for prosperity. Just bear with me a second, please. I'm going to do a chronological spread this time, see if we get those signs coming through. Okay, and yes, we do. But what we don't have is for those signs to appear immediately. We don't have them within the next 6 months. We've got them towards the end of the spread. I'll show you how it looks, okay? From the outset, dark and gloomy, bit of like losing faith of actually getting there and actually getting the progression that you want. Then a sense of a spark of hope, maybe about 2 to 4 months down the line from now. Some kind of message or communication which is going to give you a bit more inspiration that maybe it could actually happen. Further on down the line, financial gain, getting the money in place so that maybe you could actually move to another country, and also building up skills so you could work in another country as well. All over again. Yes, you've got to refresh your skills once in a while. And then the final half of the reading is very good indeed. There's some happiness there with the Fool card. That's talking about the enthusiasm, the goal setting. They're trying to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind to actually do it. But be careful, don't leap before you've looked. Alright? Because the Fool card can talk about impatience. And I don't think that being impatient with a big life-changing decision such as this would actually do you any good. But there we have it. We've got some wonderful cup signs, a sense of pleasure and a sense of not only good luck, but the travel signs we were talking about before. So I would say that it might take about 12 months for you to actually get everything together to be able to work in another country. But yes, I do feel it can happen for you. Okay, now we've got Zara J. Hume, who's inquiring about marriage. Marriage is a difficult subject, because that will be a free will issue when you reach that level of connectivity with somebody. So for me to turn around to you and say, yes, you are definitely going to get married, you're definitely going to get married to a particular person, that would be wrong of me. What I will do is we'll have a quick look and see what kind of loving energies are going to come through for you, whether this is truly someone that you know, whether this is someone who's going to be introduced to you, shall we say, or whether there's something else which is going to happen on the way, okay? That's what I'm going to focus in on. You know, you don't have to make the final decision about that until you're actually at that state. Okay, so here we go. Been shuffling like crazy as usual, and we'll see what kind of things is coming through. Okay, signs here are really rather fascinating. I mean, the short-term future, crying out for change, a strong desire for a new life over a period of 4 to 5 months. So essentially, I don't think it's necessarily going to happen that you're going to actually build that connection and that bond with someone in the immediate future. But remember, the Magician card often talks about dramatic new beginnings, the dramatic new way of life. And as such, this is a very spiritual reading. It's talking about the position whereby you're finally ready to be in that state, emotionally, intellectually. Okay, I feel that maybe you've been held back some ways, so that you weren't necessarily thinking about the subject of romantic connections with quite the level of clarity and truth that you maybe should do if you're going to have a long-term successful marriage. Okay, getting married is not something that you decide overnight or within 2 months. It's something that takes a long time once you're sure that the individual is right for you. Okay, now the progression into the future is actually very good indeed. The final card there, I think this is the one you should be paying attention to, because the High Priestess does actually speak of something akin to marriage. It speaks of being interconnected, being intertwined with somebody else, being part of something which is larger than yourself, such as a marriage union, rather than just being single. So it's actually fascinating that that should actually come up at the end of the reading for your question about actually getting married. But on the run up to that, what do we have here? What are the most important signs? Stability. The Queen of this is talking about stability, and you yourself being stable and strong, and being able to make sure that you can make a bond to actually work. Then we've got the Major Arcana, which is of course the Lust card. Okay, now that can talk about passion, yeah. So that could be proper romantic passion, or that could be something else. My feeling is that that's talking about connection. So as far as are you going to be connected with the right quality of individual, within 6 to 8 months I would say that would be a reliable time frame. Is there some sense of familiarity about this individual? Well, you're not being forced into this, I don't think. It does appear to be someone that you love and that your family approves of. So that feels very good and looks very good, okay? So I think we can see that there's some good things on the horizon for you without the shadow of a doubt. And then there's a sense of more passion and a sense of a stronger bond being built, so that you can actually have the communication and the connectivity, and it won't seem like a fight. It'll actually seem like the natural progression onto what you actually want to have in your life. Okay, so it's quite a comfortable feeling, quite a strong, stable feeling, and a sense that, we've got the good signs at the end there. So there's more progression which has got to happen in your life in order to try and make your life work out according to your own plan. But I would say it's looking very favourable indeed. So take heart with that, and I wish you all the best of luck. Okay, we've got a YouTube user inquirer called ZayuFredN73, I think. Sorry, that's ZayuFredN23. And this is an individual who's curious about work and wants to see whether there is going to be some work coming their way. So let's just have a quick look and see what's coming through. We'll do a chronological spread, see what kind of thoughts, feelings, moods, energies and all the rest of that are appearing for you. Just bear with me a second, please. Wonderful. Very good indeed. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm always very nervous when I'm doing a reading because I don't know what's going to come up. I've got no idea what kind of thoughts, feelings, moods and impressions I'm going to get. I've got no idea what's going to come out in the cards. It's quite an emotionally challenging job for me. And when there's something as serious as work is concerned and making sure you can survive, I mean, that's very difficult, okay? But within your short-term future, what do we have there, okay? Inner strength for the moment, just keep your determination going. Then, hey presto, the Star card comes straight away. The Star card is often called the Wish card, suggesting that what you've always wanted to happen with reference to a particular situation is actually going to come your way. So that's looking very good for something just within a couple of months from now. So I don't think you're going to be in a state of unemployment for all that long. Work hard. Remember, it's a competitive marketplace. So when you're doing your CV, your resume, whatever you want to call it, okay, make sure it's really rather good. And make sure you put down everything that you need to, it's in the right order. You've got half a dozen different types of CV for half a dozen different types of job and all the rest of that, okay? And try and avoid the agencies, they're useless. Alright, progression from that onwards is also looking quite interesting. Bit of a sense of change later on down the line. So you won't be in the same position forever, so I think you better take some heart in that as well. It looks like you're going to be considered for higher things after a relatively short space of time, possibly just after a year of being with the business, so that looks very good as well. So in the meantime, once you're there, be cautious, work hard, learn the right social skills and make sure you do them, and make sure you interact nicely with your fellow employees, because essentially it does seem like a team environment. It doesn't seem just like, working by yourself or something like that. So the feelings there are really rather interesting. And again, I wish you the best of luck as well, because I think it's going to happen for you. Okay, 714 has got a very serious question indeed. And this question is about leaving his wife. His wife has got a serious anger problem, there's all kinds of other issues going on there, and he's finding it very difficult, and he wants to make sure this is the right time to actually leave and move on and move forward. I personally don't think I should be the one to tell you whether this is the right time to move on and move forward and leave your wife. I think you still have to be the one to actually make up your mind about that. You have to take into account the needs of your children, where they're going, how much stability and support they all need. You've got to take into account the financial aspects. And also, despite the fact your wife is being angry, there will be some serious financial implications going on there as well. Okay? So there's lots of things to take into account. I can tell you what the reading says, but remember, the final decision rests in your hands. Let's have a quick look. Well, according to the reading, I don't think it is the right time for you to leave your wife. There's no signs of dramatic change. There's actually some signs which are rather negative. I feel that this is more a question of planning and preparation to make sure you can actually leave your wife, and to make sure that the environment that you leave works out okay. I want to draw a parallel with warfare, because when a war comes to an end, it's not a question of that the war does come to an end or that the war does not come to an end, but a question of in what way it comes to an end, to make sure there is the right variety of political balance on all sides of the equation. And that's just the same with the relationship, and you've got to make sure you end it in the right way and get the right message across, provide the right level of support, and do what's necessary for yourself and for other people. Okay? So the feeling here is be patient and find the right time and put in the action to make sure you can look after yourself and look after them. Okay, we've got a YouTube user inquirer who identifies herself as Lilith. Lilith Thor is a channel name, and she wants to know whether she's going to be able to reconcile with a boyfriend. So let's just have a quick look and see what's going to happen. Alright, here we go. Been shuffling like crazy, wants to make sure it's nice and random. Standard 8 card relationship reading, here we go. He's very defensive, and he's been a bit of literally a disappointment in the past. So I'm actually curious as to why I'd actually want to be with someone who's actually got quite so much negative energy associated with them. What precisely is it about them that really attracts you to them? That's essentially part of the issue that I would say there. And at the moment, despite the fact there's connection, is there all that much in the way of love? And once the connection reoccurs, will both parties, both you and him, be able to apply forgiveness and start to bring about a sense of change and balance here? And those are essentially the questions I think you need to ask yourself. Because it's a difficult situation, and there are some strange signs here. I mean, on your side of the reading, the Hanged Man often speaks about treachery. In what way do you feel that he has treated you badly? He may have been a sense of stability for you and has always been there, but precisely how has this actually helped you? You know, I think that this reading is trying to communicate a sense of doubt. Should you really carry on with it? But anyway, we haven't done the future part of the reading yet now, have we? So I'll have to have a quick look there and see what kind of things are coming through. Now this is not something I would have expected to see, because there's a sense of there being some fun and pleasure associated with him. There's a sense of there being some potential for a successful reconnection between 3 and 6 months down the line from now. And there's also a sense of there being, you know, a sense of progress to another level after that. So what on earth is going on there? Now, I don't see signs of change and transformation, so it must be more a question of coming to terms with things, coming to terms with problems and where each other's coming from. That would make much more sense to me than for me to turn around to you and say, oh, it's all about change, and it's not quite that simple or clear cut. It's coming to terms with things. Your characters were okay, but there's moments of stubbornness when you both moved apart from each other. There's been moments of lack of communication on specific subjects, and that's caused some friction. So it's not actually that he's actually a negative individual, and these signs of defensiveness were him trying to protect an argument or protect a position, and he's done something wrong. Okay, we can feel that and we can see that, and I feel there's some guilt there. But is that the overriding thing? Well, not according to the progress in the future. I would say that this is, I mean, All prophecy is about probability, so don't regard this as being clear cut. You've got to take responsibility and make the final decision yourself. But the reading is still suggesting that there is some kind of potential around the corner. Alright? So you've got to bear in mind it's not clear cut. You've got to bear in mind that there's a lot of good things in this relationship, but also a lot of bad things as well. And as such, I think forgiveness, tolerance, acceptance, these are important for you right now. Hello ME4230. Great of you to submitted your request, and I'm going to have a quick look at your question now. It's a bit of a standard question. Basically, is there going to be a romantic relationship situation sorting out? Emmy's been single for 2 years now, and it's a bit difficult for various reasons to start to generate the right quality of relationship, and I'm not really going to go into that in any greater detail than that within this show for the moment. But essentially, you know what I'm talking about, okay? And I'm still very happy to read upon you. Some readers wouldn't, but I'm still going to give it a go. Let's have a quick look. Bottom line, simply yes. Your character's coming out beautifully in this reading, because you've always been patient, you try and keep yourself good, and you look after yourself as best as you can. We've all got limitations, okay, but you've been patient, but now the patience is running a bit thin, which is understandable, and now it's a question of stability and trying to bring about a proper state of understanding with somebody else. Your midterm future signs is definitely summed up by a sense of coupling or unity or being with somebody who's got the right quality of similarity with yourself. Obviously the Prince of Cups, that's a cup sign with the Queen of Discs, so in a standard reading you know what that means. But essentially that's talking about unity with the right quality of individual who you personally feel comfortable with. And yes, there is a sense of there being of different elements, of different backgrounds. So from the outside you might be chalk and cheese, but once the barriers have become lowered, you start to interconnect on a deeper level. So that actually feels very good and very interesting. Now the long-term future signs, it's just wonderful that the sequence has come out this way, because it really does describe the whole situation, the way that things have been going on. What with your prudence in the short-term in the short-term future and the here and now, and the way that your character's been taking this, the fact that's been wearing a bit thin, you want action now, and the long-term future sign, just check out the colours on that. Alright? The two cards there, they're labelled pleasure and lust, but I don't think it's just that quality of relationship, if you get my drift. I think that's an analogy for a sense of closeness, a sense of closure, and a feeling of we're actually going to go somewhere now. We're going to take what we've got and we're going to make something really good happen. So give it 2 to 4 months, and I'm pretty sure something good is really going to happen for you. Okay, well, we got another inquirer now, Ms. Roz 1121. Who's got a few inquiries. No, I won't read upon pregnancy, medical matters, childbirth, and that sort of thing, because unfortunately it's not within my remit as a reader. Okay, it's not the sort of thing I feel I should be doing for ethical reasons, and there's also legal implications as well. So there's lots of different reasons why I'm not going to tackle that one for today. If you did ask about your career and career potential, we'll have a quick look at that, and then we'll have a quick look at your relationship, okay? So let's have a quick see what the reading says for you today. Okay, it's one of my traditional six card spreads, chronological, and the general progress is actually really rather good. I feel you already know what you're about and where you want to go. You've got some kind of sense of your own skills and where you're at in terms of work. You're not someone who's trained to become an optician and all of a sudden wants to fly a plane like tomorrow morning. You're someone who's got a background, who's got a history, and has actually got a good sense of knowledge, and a very complete sense of knowledge, a sense of your path is set. It's now a question of getting there and getting to the point whereby you can really use your skills properly. So that's coming through to me in a very optimistic and enthusiastic way. And also you've still got passion and drive and determination, despite the fact, we're all getting a bit older and we don't always have the same sort of zest that we used to have maybe 20 years ago or whatever. But in this particular case, I think you've still got some of that zest inside you. You're still someone who can be driven, and driven towards getting a goal in place. So I've got hope purely upon who you are and what you're about, because of that self-knowledge aspect, because of that willpower aspect. Okay, now the progress into the future, that's also quite interesting. Nothing in your short or mid-term future as far as a change as a massive step up. However, I do feel financial stability. So if you're not working at the moment, then basically you will be very, very soon anyway, so don't worry about that. But big career changes around about the March to April time, I would say, roughly speaking, because that period of time, the spring of the year, maybe about six to 8 months down the line from now, plenty of signs of happiness and a sense of well-being. Okay, also a very slight feeling of needing to defend yourself. So I feel that you can only ever have that blend of both being happy and needing to defend yourself if you've got quite a high up position. Alright, so I'll leave that there for now, because essentially there is progress and there is definitely going to be stability for you, because I can feel that there for you, so don't worry about that. Now, on the subject of your romantic relationship, let's just have a quick look and see basically what's coming through there, because this inquiry has been in an on and off relationship for a little while now, and now they want to settle down into something a little more stable. Okay, just bear with me a second. The love sign's definitely there, and the interesting thing is, this individual, this partner of yours, does have a desire to try and move things on to another level, to another position whereby you can both feel calm, content, and really with the world, okay? And we've also got a sense of there being some joy and pleasure there as well. The Wheel of Fortune can mean many things, but in this particular case, it is referring to a sense of pleasure. So, moving on to a level of greater responsibility, a bit of a sense of pleasure there, that's looking good. But you're not there yet, alright? Otherwise we would probably have cup signs and forces between you. Not this ten of Swords being ruin. Scary, scary. Which it isn't really, because a sword sign can also be communication. You're going to move forward and backward for a little while longer prior to actually settling down and making something really good happen. But that's good. That's your opportunity for growth, future development. That's you taking it one step at a time and making sure that the fear aspect is gone. Remember, you're dealing with someone who actually does want something to happen there. And on your side of the reading, I feel there's a good balance there as well. Desire for communication, desire to overcome conflict, desire to make something good and stable occur. And I feel that you are a driving force here. You need to sit down over coffee and say, where are we going? You need to take that moment and say, like, do you really want this to occur? Because I feel it's the fear aspect and this lack of knowledge which is holding you back and holding them back. And that's not really helping you to actually feel happy about how things are going to be in the longer term future. So take a bit of initiative there. Start the conversation, because you can't really have progress unless there's a conversation which is going to yield that progress that you're actually after, okay? So again, just give it a go, give it a whirl, and see basically what's happening there for you. Okay, I'll do a very quick look to see what's coming through short term, mid term and long term. Alright, I think this combination's good. Got the Two of Cups, very strong signs of being two people together, okay, but also still working things out. And then finally the Three of Coins, talking about hard work being done to bring about a positive change in the relationship that's actually going to be very good for you. So there you go. There's signs in the future. That's your mid-term and long-term future signs. And as a result of that, I would have to say that you can get there. But your short-term, it's just communication, okay? I can almost smell the coffee in a coffee shop. I really can. You're going to have that conversation and it's going to work out very well for you. But I think it's got to be you who's got to take that initiative. Okay? Alright, well, that's all the tarot readings for today. Don't forget to have a look in the information box for my Twitter account and click on it and follow me, and then you'll be able to see which YouTube videos I upload, both on this channel and on my other channel, live when I do them, okay? As well as to get a bit more perspective as to your own life as well, because each and every single day I try. I'm not totally religious about it, okay, but I do try and put up a free tarot card reading on my Twitter so that you can have a quick look and see whether that actually relates to yourself, relates to your day. Don't unfollow me if it doesn't, because sometimes there'll be just a few words there which will chime in very nicely and will give you just that extra sense of, that's what's really happening here, okay? because a lot of people think that way. A lot of people feel that just the mention of the right card or the right sign on the right day and the right juncture of their life can have a real impact, and that can actually help to cause change. So have a quick look there anyway, okay? So, I bid you good fortune, God and or Goddess and or none of the above bless. Nick Dutch signing out for now. And don't forget that this is legally billed as an entertainment service, okay? And the final decision maker in your life is still yourself.